Hello, I am Prajwal. I am here to give you information about artificial intelligence. Introduction. Artificial intelligence is an artificial thinking capacity that a machine possesses and takes decision on its own. Means, whatever the decision that a machine takes, it will be on its own, not by the user. Commonly in today's world, it is popularly known as AI. In today's world, we often use the word AI as it becomes a sensation in today's generation. AI often takes decisions based on user previous data and decision. Means whatever the decision that an AI takes, it will be purely based on the previous instruction given by its user. An AI built with deep written algorithms and lengthy program. Means whatever an AI is built with long deep written algorithms and lengthy program, it will be a complicated program, not like normal programs. AI uses mathematics and logics for its programming. And AI uses purely maths and logics for its programming. As logical operations are very much required for its programming, the logical operations like AND are not. Today, AI chips are available which has the capacity to process millions of instructions per second. In AI has the capacity to process even millions of instructions per second. Evolution to revolution. And we often see that computers has evolved from generation to generation. From generation 1 we used vacuum tubes, and in generation 2 we used transistors. In generation 3 we used ICs, and in generation 4 we are using microprocessors, that is currently. And in future it will be an AI chips which has the capacity to process millions of instructions per second, and it will be a lot more faster than a microprocessor. AI chip. An AI chip is built in such a way that it can process millions of instructions per second, and the design is very unique, and the design and it has a pre-built-in data software which enables and boots itself and enables to solve the user's problem. How an AI works? An AI works based on the previous data given by its user. For example, if you order an AI to do some task, it will gonna search that whether this task was given earlier by the user or not. If the same task is given by the user in the earlier state, then it will gonna follow the steps which has taken previously and implement the previous steps, and it will gonna do it the task. And logical operations are very much needed for the working of AI. For example, if you order burger in a particular shop, if the burger is not available in that particular shop, an AI comes and informs that the burger that you want to place an order in some shop is not available. May I book it in somewhere else? Then you can place an order, and you can place order wherever you want. Why do we need AI? I already told that introduction about AI, and now I will need to say there are a few aspects why we need AI in modern society. Preventing hacking. As today's generation, we suffer from hacking, as we come across many news regarding hacking, like some terrorists hacked into military database and stole few information, and some hacker hacked banks like Hamza Benderej, who hacked and all the bank accounts of US and stole $100 million. Means these kind of things we come across in our daily life in electronic medias. So if we implement an AI program into a system, then we can prevent hacking. You might be wondering how. It's simple. When you implement an AI program, it has a unique capability. Means whenever a hacker hacks into a system using his IP code, it will gonna automatically rebuild as another unique capability that it can rebuild itself. Means it will gonna see all the changes that all the connected devices which has connected to it and device, and it will gonna inform the user that the information that you have is being fetching by someone else, and are you the one who is using it? It will gonna ask you if you are not the person, then some other hacker might be using your using your data. So you can just prevent it. So this kind of situation, AI is very much helpful, and more basically, it is helpful for military, because we know that military equipment if falls into wrong hands, then might be huge effects on the today's generation. So it's very much important for having an AI, virtual assistants. So an AI has a unique ability that we can just virtually communicate with an AI. If I just call an AI's name, just so and AI, I want you to be here, and just like in human appearance, a virtual image of AI appears in front of us. So with that, you can communicate whatever the solution that you want, an AI can provide you that. Prevention from virus and malware means, as we know that if systems or robots get hacked if implemented with the virus, then it will start malfunctioning. Means if you give an order, it will gonna do another, it will perform another task. So to overcome these, if we implement an AI into the system, then all those data will be secured. Means if a virus is implemented into a system, AI automatically rebuilds its program, and it will gonna fight off the virus, and it will gonna remove it completely and makes our system run smoothly. Fast processing. As in today's generation, if we are come across AI chips has a unique ability that it can perform millions of instructions per second. So if it needs fast processing speed, means if me and my friend gives the instruction simultaneously, the AI has to provide different solution to the two different users at the same time. So it must need fast processing speed, and AI also has that speed. Hence it is reliable. Huge data storage. I already told you in the previous slides that an AI takes decision based on the previous data. If I order, I already told you that if I want to order a burger, it will gonna check into its database, and it will gonna see whether I have ordered a burger in the previous sessions or not. So it stores all the instructions given by me. Hence it requires a huge storage, because not one person will not only be using an AI. So many persons will be using AI. So it needs huge data storage. Auto data reusability. Just whatever the data that we are given will not be just wasted. If the data will be used again and again. For example, if the instructions are repeated, if the instruction is repeated once again, then it will not gonna take another instruction, and it will not gonna process it. If it will check in its database, and it will see if the instructions are given previously, it will gonna use the same data here. So in that situation, our data are reused. Helps in tracking. And AI can track any person. For example, if I am lost somewhere, you can track my cell phones. If I don't have cell phone, I don't have any electronic gadgets with me, but I'm lost, and you have to find me. What you'll do? Obviously you're gonna approach police, and it will take lengthy time. But if you implement an AI for tracking a person, it will be much more easier, as an AI has the ability to get into satellite system, and it can track the it will then compare the current image with the person available in that surrounding. And if the data is found, it will gonna send it back to the user that this person is located in this area, and you can have him there. So in this type, we can AI helps in tracking a person. Helps in healthcare. Means today we have to know that generation after generation we are getting evolved, and technologies are getting upgraded. In previous generations, everyone used to do operations by hand, but today machines have the capability to do it. If an AI is implemented into a system, then it can do much more reliable and accurate operation than a human can perform. Helps in education. It's a main cause. As if a teacher is absent to a college or a school, then the students might get lack of getting the current day's knowledge. So if an AI has a artificial thinking capacity. So if we implement in AI into our education system, then virtually it can teach what a teacher can teach, even an AI can also teach. And you cannot just you can study wherever you want. If you are at home, you can just ask like I did not understood this topic, so can you repeat it once again? So an AI can virtually appears in front of you, and it can just revise the lessons what it taught earlier. Social benefits. You might be wondering, is that all the advantages that an AI has? No, there are many more advantages. For example, if a person is physically challenged, he can't drive a car. If you implement an AI system into a car, then we can, by standing here only, if I call an AI's name, it will the car will automatically appear in front of me. Means it will gonna come here and it will gonna pick me up and drop me off to my location. And not only that, in future days, all the jobs will be taken over by AI itself. You might know it. In accounting, if a person needs to do all the accounting thing, if AI has an artificial intelligence, then it can automatically do what a human can do, and it would be even accurate than a human. And in science, as I told you earlier, that all the surgical and all the job will be taken over by AI itself. So there are few disadvantages also, but it will gonna create much more job to other sectors as well. So thank you.